the Wize Move Society, and I'm connecting with you from Pretoria in South Africa. I'm a management consultant who has 20 years experience in human capital management and organizational development. I'm a motivational speaker. And more importantly, currently, I'm a cryptocurrency enthusiast. I believe everybody should get to know about this new platform, that we're in. More relevant for today, I am the project leader for the Wize Move Society. And today I will be your host at this particular event that we are having. I'm going to share with you the sequence of events, or the agenda for the next 2 hours. So if you just give me a second, I'm just gonna go into my share screen. Right, I know it's gonna look very funny, but here it is, right? So what is going to be taking place this afternoon? This is what's going to be taking place. After my opening remarks, we will be addressed by Ingun, who's the founder of the Wize Move Society, followed by Mr. Paul Tasner. As you can see, the topic that he'll be speaking about on environmentalism, entrepreneurism. Never heard this one before, so today I'm looking forward to hearing more about it, and ageism. After that, we will be addressed, we will be shown the platform, because what we believed as we're putting the plan together, we thought we don't just want to tell you about this platform, but we want to show it to you and tell you how you can be able to navigate the platform. Bruce will then be followed by Dr. Tatiana Rossen on the topic of finding purpose through play, curiosity, and connection. After that session, we'll have a bit of a moving session, because we would have spent probably about an hour sitting and listening. And if you've been with us in other events before, you know that we always want, some movement to be taking place during our session. And that will be led by Dr. Manisha Curry, who's based in India. She's joining us from India. We will then be joined by South African Mama Gcina Mhlophe, who will be talking on the topic of reimagining my own story. And then we'll go through a second session where Elsabe and myself will also take you through the platform to be able to share more information with you. Towards the end of the session, then we'll have some time for questions and answers that you may have put during the session in the chat box, or that may have come up and you want to ask at that stage. We're hoping to close the session, within the 2-hour time, so that we don't take you away from your beautiful Saturday that you are having. Thank you very much for that. So without wasting any more time, let me hand over then through to Ingun, who is the founder of this wonderful movement that we are launching here today. Ingun, over to you.
Yes, thank you, Tebello. And, it is so exciting to be here and to see all your beautiful faces. And, it's also because of you that this project is getting started. So really excited to see many of you. And, I see women, of course, of the female wave of change that we've been building over the past 4.5 years. I see my family, very important. I see so many beautiful people that, Gita, I see you need to change your name. It's still Elsabe Trollip, Dr. Gcina, I see change your name because everyone needs to know who you are. Fantastic opportunity. I'm not going to talk very long because we have so many great things and great speakers today. For me, it was still, that this urge that I needed to do something. And it was not because I had nothing on my plate or that I was getting bored or something like that, but it was very much that since I turned 50, and that is by now 11 years ago, I felt that I needed to work with this age group. I saw people of my age group, I saw that they had so much wisdom, experience, knowledge to share, but I also saw them struggling or in their role in the corporate environment or with their businesses, struggling with this very changing world. But also those who were on the sideline and, you know, not being able to get in, not being able to cope with the change, with the changing world we're in. So I really felt that I needed to do something. And by the time, so there was this plan, you know, in my drawer. It was already there for many years. But by the time that I turned 60, I really said, okay, so now is the time. Started it a year ago with my business partner at the time, Saskia Harkema. But at the beginning of this year, we said it's not moving in the direction that we really wanted to move. For me, I'm a community builder, I'm a connector, I'm building bridges, I want to get people together. So for me, that was this dream to build that online platform, that community of people coming together, sharing knowledge and experience, making new friends, etc. But also to create that new future, you know, to really be an active member in that future, and not, as I mentioned last couple of days ago, on your way out. No, we are part of that future. So that is what we're actually doing right now. I'm very excited about it. And I do want to share my screen just for a couple of slides. I'm not going to do a lot, but I believe that right now you can see what you need to see. So Tebello, can you please tell that we're seeing the slides?
Yes, yeah, we can see the slides.
Okay, good, perfect. Yeah. Okay, so for first, and well, let's put the bigger screen on. Yes. So the vision is we really see that 50 plus generation play a more significant role in the creation of a future for all of us by sharing knowledge, experience, and wisdom, by stepping forward, the active members of society, and proactively contributing to build a legacy for generations to come. So if I look now, why is it going to number 6? It should not be going to. Okay, this one. Okay, so what is our intention with this movement? It's our intention to offer an environment to meet like-minded people from all over the world and all walks of life, to connect, to have fun, very important, and contribute to build a better future. It's also our intention to shift the way of thinking of society about the 50 plus generation and the significant role they can and should play in creating the future. And you know, it is such a pleasure to see also in this launch, people who are working hard and have been for so many years to also make that shift happen, to make that way of thinking, that mindset change happen. I also want to change the mindset of that 50 plus generation so that they really find their purpose, find their passion, are aware of their potential and their ability to play an active role in creating their own future and the future of generations to come. But also to have a positive and social impact on the economy by creating new opportunities, projects, jobs to empower this generation and amplify their voice. So research has shown that people in general perform better, are more motivated and more creative when they are part of a community of like-minded people. And yesterday, again, I shared it was a TED Talk of someone who just emphasized find your community, because that is where it's really happening. So moving to the future offers the 50 plus generation that community. So it's the Wize Move Society. So I'm a picture thinker. I need these pictures. What is going to happen in that community? Because I really, you know, visualize that village square of what was happening. And it is about people coming together. It is about making new friends and having fun and you know, just relax also. But it's also about finding information, sharing information. So there will be an extended library that we're going to build together. There will be workshops, and those workshops will be, you know, it can be on anything that is very work related, but we're also going to do fun things. So we're having, we're building right now a team of what we call the influencers, but they actually are the teachers, the trainers, the coaches, and the mentors who are going to do all kinds of activities on the platform. So it can be fun. So for instance, there will be a photographer, but there will also be people who are very much on the spiritual side, but also on the leadership and entrepreneurship side. So there will be a lot to do. We will start creating those opportunities together. So we will be working really actively on the challenges that we will be facing. And it is our goal to have those outcomes of projects and start businesses. Here you can see this. I couldn't find a picture of the older generation. These are the kids. There will be innovation labs. So we will really start working on creating those opportunities together. But also health, and that is good that we have today the yoga session. But that will also be part of it. So it will be about health, mental health, spiritual health, etc. And just fun, coming together. And these are the outcomes. And that is important, especially for those who are going to be part of this community, the members. We are going to make new friends. You're going to find a tribe. We're going to have fun. It will be about finding your purpose again, your passion. What is it really that you want to do? What is it? How do you want to impact the world right now? Find solutions for the challenges that we're facing. Create those new opportunities, new businesses, start projects, startups. Anyhow, a lot. And if you think I'm going to do this alone, I'm not. I love starting projects. I love doing the things that to take the first step, but you can never do things like this alone. And I really want to emphasize this group, show my gratitude also for this group who has been working the last, I think, 6 weeks very hard to really get this started and make May 1st happen. And believe me, somewhere on the way we were like, oh, is it going to be too fast, or are we really going to do this? But we did. Tebello, you've already met her. She's the project leader for the Wize Move Society and a very dear friend. Elsabe Trollip, our virtual assistant also in South Africa, by the way, both in South Africa. And Elsabe, she's an amazing woman. I always talk about her. It's like she knows what needs to be done before I even think about it, and has already done it, by the way. So really fantastic to work with her. The guys of Redstring, you will meet Bruce today. So I always refer to them as the tech guys. So it's Bruce, Brian, and Bob, who have really helped us to do the technical part of the platform, and Bruce will take you through it. So it's really exciting that you meet him as well. And thanks to the Pass It On network that I met with Bruce, and also with the platform that they are also using. And then there was this thing that we needed this banner, and we were like, of course we can choose a picture, or we can just ask someone to create one. So we had this really fantastic lady, again from South Africa. I don't know what it is about South Africa, but Angela Duffield, she has created this fantastic banner, and you will see it later on the platform. And it really had to reflect everything about people coming together, doing the fun things, but also really working together to create those new opportunities and to find the solutions for the challenges. The other group that I really wanted to thank, this is me, it happens always, and that's okay. But there's a group of women that, and again, women, and it might have been men, because we really want to invite men to be part of this community as well. But this group has really supported me over the past couple of weeks. I want a group around me that challenges me, that, that I have to be, show the numbers regularly, that I will show my plans, so that people give me feedback on, okay, so what are you going to do? And I want to introduce this group to you. And yeah, well, you will see more of them hopefully in the years to come, because I'm really excited about these women being part of it. and that is Nicolette Reichermann. She's from UK, originally Dutch, but really happy to have her on board. Annalie Kilian, I'm not even going to mention where she's originally from, South Africa, Australia, the United States, lives in France right now, but a great entrepreneurial background and a corporate background. So she has all the things, you know, in her wisdom. It's all combined there, and already challenged me several times during the weeks that we have been working on this. Mary Jane, met her a couple of years ago here in the Netherlands. I think it was one of the last meetings I had before everything went into lockdown. Originally from Canada, but lives here in the United States. I'm really happy to have her on board. Also someone who comes also from the women empowerment background, but is doing a lot of things more. Also will be very active on the platform as a teacher and trainer and coach. Renee, some of you who were working with us in Female Wave of Change, you know that she's also a board member there. So excited to have Renee on board as well. And we're still figuring out what her role will be, but we'll really get to there. Nienke van Bezooyen, also someone from the Netherlands, presentation master, really someone who's able to well, get people out of their comfort zone and speak about any topic. So really happy to have Nienke on board. Viola, also a global human being, and lives right now in Cyprus. You will hear more about her as well. Is a lady with entrepreneurial background, is doing again a lot of things, and will also be active on the platform. Tatiana, you will hear her speak, so she's going to introduce herself. She's a researcher and scientist from the UK, well, originally from Brazil, so also very technical diverse background. And Marion van Leeuwen. So I really want to emphasize that this group really supported me the past couple of weeks, months, to make this happen and to proceed also when I felt like, okay, I really have to move on my own right now, but supported me and really are my cheerleaders. So thank you, ladies, for now. There's still 2 open seats in this group, these thought leaders, and I really challenge the guys to join us as well. So I'm not going to talk anymore. It's really exciting to have you all here. I'm going to stop share and going to give the floor again to Tebello for the next part of this launch.
Great, thank you very much, Ingun, and I hope that you're all excited about what you've heard so far. It certainly sounds like it's going to be, you know, a great society, you know, to be part of. By the way, I think I'm the youngest in the group that everybody is here. So I'm looking forward to learning from everyone, you know, that is here with us. Now, to introduce our next speaker, I'm just going to say, now imagine you spent almost all your life working very hard in a company, and then out of the blue, your life changes, you know, in a manner that you had not anticipated. He will share more with us about that experience that he's had. He's the co-founder and CEO of Pulp Works Incorporated. He's a senior level executive with 40 years of experience in all facets of supply chain management. He holds a BSc in Industrial Engineering from the New Jersey Institute of Technology and a PhD in Mathematics from Boston University. Paul, welcome, and over to you.
Thank you very much. And thank you, Ingun, for inviting me to participate today. I think my story is not an unusual one, but you know, the more I share my story, the more feedback I seem to get that it's a bit unusual. So I'll keep sharing it until it's not an unusual story, hopefully. Just by way of background, I'm 75 years old now, and I have a background in education in engineering and mathematics. And as Tebello said, I had a 40 plus years of experience working for other people, working in businesses, both large and small. But I've always worked for somebody else. I never worked for myself throughout that period. And then just a few days before Christmas in 2011, I was called into a meeting on a Friday afternoon. I think these things always happen on Friday afternoons for strategic reasons, of course. And I was told that I was no longer needed. And I was 64 years old at that time. And it came as a bit of a surprise. And I say a bit of a surprise because I wasn't entirely shocked by the announcement. It turned out to be the proverbial blessing in disguise. So I took advantage of my newfound freedom and started thinking about what I would do with the rest of my life. I decided to enter the world of consulting, but frankly, it wasn't very fulfilling to me. And I felt the clock was ticking on my life, and I didn't want to spend the final chapter of my life, not to sound too maudlin about it, but I didn't want to spend the final chapter of my life doing something that I wasn't excited about. And little by little, this idea for a company took shape for me. I'd always had a passion about the environment and plastic pollution. And as I said, this wasn't one of those aha moments where you wake up one day and you have a great idea for a business. It took a while, little by little, piece by piece. I put together what I thought was a fine idea for a business, replacing plastic packaging with sustainable packaging and doing the designing and manufacturing of that packaging, all using waste material. It sounded like a concept that was perfect for the times that we lived in. But as I'll share with you, there were quite a few challenges. There were many challenges due to the fact that I didn't have a track record as an entrepreneur. And investors, and I did need investors. Investors want people with a track record, and I didn't have one. So I understand their reluctance. But not everyone felt that way. Some folks were opposed to investing simply because of my age, and they weren't embarrassed or shy about saying as much. I can't tell you how many people just shut me down simply because at that time I was already 66 years old. And that was disappointing and frustrating and angering. And I learned later that older entrepreneurs have a 70% success rate when they start a business. 70% success rate, which I think you'll all have to agree is absolutely phenomenal. Compared to young entrepreneurs whose success rate is in the 20s somewhere. And I think that, there's some really good reasons why our success rate is so high. We've got a lot of experience. I mean, we all bring 30 or 40 years to these new ventures. That's a lot of experience, even if it's in a different field. And we're not willing to do a lot of trial and error because we don't have a lot of time for trial and error. So we like to hit it on the head right from the start. Unfortunately, I learned about that much later. I'm talking about learning. I learned a lot of things as I went along. I didn't have a Wize Move Society to fall back on, to shoulders to cry on. I didn't have any of that. I didn't have any role models. I'm sure there were, but I didn't know who they were. I didn't know exactly how to find them while I was already trying to start this business. But I did start the business. I did start it without investors. For one of the reasons that I was able to start it without investors is that one of our suppliers, our key supplier, was a company that I'd known for many years from my previous life. And they did something that's absolutely unheard of in business yesterday, today, or even tomorrow, I'm sure. They told me I could pay them after I got paid. And you know, that's the kind of an amazing relationship we have. And that's the way it started, and that's the way it is today, 10 years later. So I could not have done that without them. And I realized that that was a huge gift that I got. I, I will say this, things that I've learned from my challenges with trying to raise money was, if you don't need to raise money, please don't. And believe me, I'm talking only from my own perspective here. So please, you know, take my advice with that caveat. If you can start this on your own, you know, from your own bootstraps, with your own savings, or whatever the case may be, try to do that. And also find a partner. I found a partner shortly after I launched my business. Find a partner. There's nothing like being able to share the joys and challenges. You know, in light of a Wize Move Society, a partner becomes kind of your own personal Wize Move Society. And I think it's just so important to have one if you can find a good fit with somebody. And of course, as in my case, my business was really built on the experience that I brought to it. I didn't have a life working in accounting and then start a guitar factory. I really built on what I knew best. And that worked for me. And I imagine that works for many folks. And, you know, on an incredibly practical level, when you're trying to get a business off the ground, this is a point that I find most people are surprised about. There are business competitions everywhere, all over the world, in every category of business you can name. There certainly were business competitions in my particular category, which you might call green business or something of that sort. Enter competitions. If you think you've got a great business idea, enter the competitions. You get a lot of exposure that way. And with exposure, you know, sometimes comes press coverage. It did in my case. I managed to get press coverage because of the type of business that I was launching, as well as my age. Just my age alone was a factor in getting press coverage. In fact, you know, my TED talk at Ingun referenced in the material for this session. The title of my TED talk is How I Started My Own, or How I Became an Entrepreneur at 66 years old. I mean, believe me, the TED folks know how to write captions and titles, and they seized on that. That's, I think, what people want to hear about. So do as much competition entering as you can. Try to make the most of it, because the more press coverage you get, the more powerful will be your search engine results. And I think everyone, no matter what kind of business they're growing, wants to have good search results. And today, Pulpworks enjoys incredible search results because of that. As a matter of fact, I'm proud to say we rarely do any sales calls. Most of the business that we have today comes to us thanks to our high search rankings. And we never paid 5 cents for search ads or anything. It's all organic, and it's all because we've got wonderful press coverage. There's nothing more powerful than having your website linked in a New York Times article. I mean, the New York Times is just just an incredibly powerful website to link yourself to. I think I wanted to talk about surprises and revelations because I've had quite a few, and I think they're worth pointing out. In fact, the first one I want to point out, I think, is the most noteworthy to me, since we're talking about entrepreneurism and ageism, that the ageism that I experienced trying to launch my business was the only ageism I have experienced in the course of my business. There has never been a hint of ageism in any business dealings I've had in the 10 years of this business. It all had to do with trying to raise money from investors. That's when ageism reared its ugly head for me. Once I was on my way and decided to do this by my own bootstraps and with the help of my partners, ageism never became an issue again. We have literally hundreds of customers. I have never had a customer tell me that they care about my age. Never, ever. In fact, most of my customers don't have a clue as to my age. Likewise for our suppliers, no supplier has ever said, I'm sorry, I can't sell that to you, you're too old. No one has ever said that. They don't care. Customers just care about getting good product, quality product on time, when they wanted it, how they wanted it. And suppliers, they just want their bills to be paid. They don't care how old you are when you're writing that check. So that there's good news out there. Ageism doesn't rear its head when you're deeply involved in your business. It comes up when you're trying to get something from somebody. That's when they use age as an excuse not to give it to you. I've got colleagues of all ages, I'm delighted to say, and I've got friends of all ages, many of whom I've met through my business. It's definitely intergenerational. My own business partner is of a different generation. So it's been a wonderful entree to meeting all kinds of people of different ages. And I'm delighted to say that what I heard, I guess it is 4 years ago now since my TED Talk, I got hundreds, if not thousands of letters and emails, feedback after my TED Talk, all positive, I'm pleased to share. But there was one that stood out for me because it didn't come from an individual. It came from a life insurance company, and it's a life insurance company right in the Netherlands. It's called Aegon. I believe they're the world's largest life insurance company. In the US, they're called Transamerica. And I heard from people in their research department. They saw my TED Talk and they wanted to share their feedback with me and congratulations, etc. And they shared with me that what I was doing was the best thing that you can do for your mental health, bar none. The challenge of trying to start a business on your own and going at it passionately is so powerful for your own mental health, that there's nothing I could do in life that would be better for my mental health. And that includes, all kinds of Sudoku or crossword puzzles or you name it. Nothing is as good for your mental health as getting involved in a challenge like starting a business. So it didn't change my approach to my business, but it was really nice to underscore what I was already doing. It is the most rewarding and challenging work of my life. And I've had good jobs. I mean, I have a good education. I've had good jobs since I left school. Every job of mine has been a, quote, good job. But nothing comes close to what I'm doing now. Nothing at all. I literally can't wait to wake up in the morning and check my emails and see what kind of business is out there waiting or challenging us. My kids, my grandkids are proud of the work that I'm doing. It is the final chapter to my career that I always wanted. When I lost my job back in 2009 and just, kind of started doing a little consulting work and felt so unrewarded by it. This is what I was looking to do. I didn't know it at the time, but this is what I was looking to do. And it's turned out to be exactly that. And I couldn't be more thrilled. And again, thank you for letting me babble on for, I don't know how long it's been, but hopefully I haven't gone over my time. But thanks for having me, and thanks for listening.
Wow, Paul, wow, wow. Thank you, thank you, thank you for that message. And sorry, you didn't babble on, I think we were also, keen to hear, the message that you were sharing with us. A couple of things that we coming out from you, a couple of messages is in terms of you doing something that you're excited about, and also finding that the work that you do now is the work that you've always wanted to do, and it took what somebody might have seen as a negative experience to kind of catapult you or frog leap you, into the work that you're doing. And also, I think the message that you shared with us about just hitting the road, from the start applies to everyone. We spend so much time thinking and thinking and thinking and not doing. And we learn in the doing as we do the work, as we do the business, then we really get to know. I don't know how many of you here are going to be going on the press coverage, but you got the message, go use the press, make it your ally, in terms of the work that you're doing. So really, I think, I know people had other, nuggets of wisdom that they picked up, but that was really awesome. Thank you so much for sharing that with us. We do have a couple of people that have joined us, in the middle of the session. A few things that we would like to say. If your name is reflecting it as Elsabe Trollip, don't panic. All you need to do is just rename, next to words, where you click words, got Elsabe Trollip, and you'll be able to rename yourself. If you have any questions in terms of what Paul has shared with us, please type them in the chat box, so that at the end of the day, when we go through the question and answer, we can then go back to those questions. But what an awesome, awesome story. And you are right, Paul, when, it's like as a woman, when you do the work, people forget that you're a woman. People don't look at you as a woman. They look at you somebody that is providing a service, that is delivering, on the service and products that they've requested. And I love what you said, that they don't know how old you are when you sign the check. All they want to know is that their check is paid.
Right.
Absolutely. So thank you so much for that
You're
session.
welcome.
So, ladies and gentlemen, so we've heard now a bit about the platform, and we're quite excited about it. And I'm sure you heard about it from Ingun. And as you know, there's been a lot of work that has gone into the development of this platform. The founder and the team, as in Ingun and ourselves, could not have achieved what we've managed to achieve without, finding another partner to be able to work with. So this work, this development has been done in partnership with a US-based team, which is led by Bruce Frankel. The name of the company that we partnered with is Redstring. And in short, this company helps people and organizations who want to achieve their mission, grow their organizations, and make their business profitable. Bruce Frankel is the Vice President, CCO, CMO, and partner at Redstring. Bruce, I don't know what other title we need to be adding, to your name for the work that you do in Redstring. So I'm going to hand over now to Bruce, who will then take us, help us to navigate through this platform, because this is the platform that you and I are going to be engaging on a regular basis. Bruce, over to you.
You're muted.
That's what you get with tech, get mute. So thank you very much, Tebello. And just one quick correction. I'm certainly just part of the team with Brian Pratt, who's the CEO, who's on the call, and Bob Walters, who's our head of IT. But we really work in collaboration. So just to set the record straight. So just, Ingun asked me before I talk a little bit about that platform if I would talk a little about myself, but before I do that, I'd just like to say that it's an honor working with Wize Move Society. I'm coming to you from my home near Boston, Massachusetts, and I'm every confidence at this point that Wize Move Society is going to succeed and flourish because, in part because of the team that's leading this. We in Redstring have been working at building communities for a while, and I'm not sure we've ever encountered a team that so quickly, proficiently, and with such good humor and persistence put some together in so short a period of time. So we're duly impressed by their skill, their intelligence, their drive, and their desire. And so our hats are off to them. And it's of course, a pleasure working with people like that. It just makes our work a joy. So just a bit about myself, and before I get to Redstring, and I appreciated Paul's story. It was terrific, and you'll hear particularly some of why I appreciate it. So my journey has been a fairly circuitous one in my lifetime. I was supposed to, I think, when I graduated college, become a nomad poet, and attempted to live as one in Italy and France for a while, and then returned to the United States and worked in psychiatric hospitals until I was 27. And then I went to work as a reporter, because once you've worked in a psychiatric hospital, you know that you've learned something about how the world really functions. I became an investigative reporter and spent a decade or more. I ended up with a 27-year career in journalism, first as an investigative reporter for Gannett newspapers, and then for USA Today, where I reported on major trials, major politics, organized crime, and terrorism. And I left there to become a senior writer and editor at Time Magazine, Time Inc., where I worked at People Magazine. And when I was about 51, trying to remember precisely, I decided to apply to graduate school in poetry, which was my first love. And I really was tired of the dark side of life. And so at any rate, before I went there, I did a book on World War II for Time Inc. And then I went to graduate school in poetry and was teaching briefly when a friend of mine who was turning 60 had lost his job at Time Inc., gotten pushed out as print journalism began to implode. And he had a book that he thought was going to pave his way for retirement. And it blew up in the press before it ever got written. And the person he was ghosting that book for backed away, and he was sorely depressed about his prospects for the rest of his life. On the eve of his 60th birthday, we met, we had a long 4-glass of water lunch, and I left that meeting and walked home, and my friend was truly desperate, and I turned over various ideas of how I could help him. And I came up with an idea that was pretty shallow at the time, that we'd write a book together about people like ourselves who would succeed after the age of 60. And he didn't particularly like the idea, but I was stuck with my own good idea, I'm afraid. And I spent the next 2.5 years of my life interviewing people who had created new lives after the age of 60. And my criteria was that they couldn't have prior wealth and couldn't have prior great success in that they were just transferring, that they had to be truly self-created in some way. And there was one of those that wasn't quite true, but for different reasons, I included her story. And the people in my book changed my life. They taught me over those 2.5 years. I was then 55 and didn't see any prospect of returning to journalism at the time. They taught me. The oldest member of my book club was 96 when I met him, and he had just written a book about his life in England before World War I. It was his first book that he'd published, and he went on to write 3 more books before he ultimately died at 101. But the people in the book they range from a woman who sold her used Volvo to raise $5,000 and go to Africa in Pakwasi, Ghana, founded what became arguably the most successful microfinance project in Africa at the time. Just someone who became a teacher, someone who opened a toy business that became tremendously successful. So one after another, these people taught me how much is possible, how that we have self-imposed barriers we put up for ourselves. We listen to culture, and we need to stop listening to the culture that denies people the right to continue to grow and to manifest what they're capable of. So with that, I joined an organization called the Life Planning Network, which 10 years ago I joined to help. And I should just show you this is my book, What Should I Do with the Rest of My Life, was the name of the book, and it's filled with profiles of the people I studied and spent time with. And they're just amazing. One of them is still a interpreter for the national parks of the United States at 97. She's the oldest park ranger in the United States. She began in her 80s. So they're amazing human beings. At any rate, the Life Planning Network is an organization, national organization of life planners who advocate for positive aging, countering ageism, and helping people navigate the second half of life. And I'm now the president of that nonprofit. At the same time, I needed to make money, and this guy, Brian Pratt, who's on the screen here somewhere, hired me to work with him in putting out a online publication for boomers at the time. And Brian had raised a chunk of money, and we had built a platform. And midway along the way, our investor decided that he was going to retire and kind of leaving us in the lurch with some of what we needed, but not all. So we ourselves are a product of our product and evidence of what we're talking about here. We had to recalibrate and refigure out things, and we pivoted and realized what we really had was a great system for building community. And I should just say one thing. I continue to focus on aging, by the way, in case anyone's interested. A 2021 fellow at Columbia University School of Public Health, where we're focusing on isolation and loneliness this year. But in any rate, at Redstring, we focus on building communities. And Brian has a great history in himself. He came out of aerospace and then telecom, and then did community building, running a large 500,000 person communities parks department, which included 36 villages and so forth. So he has a great history too. But we take all of our information and we tried to create a tool that communities could easily operate for themselves. We use what we believe are community mechanics or community science to help them. And so without further ado, I'm going to switch, if I could have, and we call our communities e-villages or e-campuses or e-communities. But if you give me screen share ability, I'll share my screen and do I have it?
You should have, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, but I don't. Hold on one second. I do have it, I think. Hold on one second. Not sure why my there it is. Okay. So this is, I'm going to just expand this a little for you. So this is the Wize Move Society. Let me just spread this out a little for you. It's a little hard on the screen. Okay. So what I want to do is quickly take you through the village and just give you basic navigation idea of it. We're not going to drill too deeply, but just to show you some of the mechanics and some of what the benefits that you'll be able to get out of it. So the basic platform or e-village is organized in 4 areas. On the left, you have your navigation menu where you'll find your products and services and various tools in this column. And as you can see, there's my profile, my mail, that's all under this button. I'm sorry, I tapped on that. So you have your home button, which anytime you're lost in the system, all you have to do is go home, go to the house, and it'll bring you to your home page. You have member directory. We have your community menu. We have the My button, and I'll come back to this. And on the upper right here, we have the communications center. And I'll come back to it, but it has your features for video calling, for browsing. It has the blogs as well as your own personal links to your various online accounts, social media accounts. In the middle, we have these informational buttons that are somewhat static information here for the community, and then below these buttons, events, forum, and blog, will take you to your calendar, will take you to the forum where we hope that you will interact and enjoy the conversation and participate in the conversation, and the blog too, which is open to you to post blogs. These are simple tools that there are little tours on there that will help you to use them. Below that, you can see there's this news ticker where updated information with links that will get you to all the information you need, or if the Wize Move Society team has events they want to post or news they want to break there, it'll be there. Below that is the media center for the community, where this is a carousel that has probably about 8 articles in it. Below it, you'll see the full library. And to the right is the ad section, and will probably be PSAs and whatever else the Wize Move Society decides it wants to advertise there. These, on the carousel, the articles are clickable, and in the articles, they're all shareable to social media when the society determines they want the articles to be shareable. Here, you'll also find the articles on, I highly recommend, there's a cheat sheet here. There's how to navigate the society that will take you through the various elements of how to download our video conferencing tool, which I'll explain in a second, how to make friends, how to create your profile, which is the very first order of business. So let me just skip back up here and go through this briefly for you. On the upper, the first thing that we really want everyone to do before I go to the communication side is when you come on, or you'll be invited, you'll receive an invitation, you'll come into the community, and the very first thing we want you to do is go to the My button, click on it, and click on My Profile. And in My Profile, it's going to take a second when we're going through a third-party tool. It takes a little bit longer to register. When you come into my profile, it'll be highlighting your personal profile. You'll click on this green button for edit, and the first thing you'll do when you're here is create your profile image, upload your profile image. And all this, you don't have to worry about remembering most of this. It's in the articles, but this is just to give you a sense. The profile image is a square of 1-to-1 ratio. Start at 150 by 150 or can go up to 200 by 200. But if you need to, you can resize your profile here, and there's a little video under the question mark, or you can crop your image, or you can crop your image and load it. And then go ahead and fill out all of the information fields. These little buttons that say everyone, they are how you create your security settings, your personal privacy settings, so you can set it to everyone, friends, or private. I understand wanting to set some things to private. I think when you set too much, you're defeating the purpose of being in a community. Use the address finder to set your address in these fields, unless for some reason it doesn't take, but 99% of the times it will work and it will properly lay everything in. And then please do not forget, and this is to click the save bar, because if you don't, your effort will be lost and you'll end up having to do it over. Under the button to the right is your business profile, which has a little bit different, it particularly adds a little dimension to your business qualifications and your website, whatever. This has a little additional information of whether you're global or local. Most people put global today because of the internet. And the gear on the far right will allow you both to set your password if you ever want to reset it. But one thing that I really want to point out here is in this gear is your visibility setting. Almost always the default is everyone. But if you would do us the favor of just checking under there to be sure that it says everyone, because if it's set for privacy by some freak event, no one will know that you're there, no one will see you. So that's just an important little element, is checking that privacy, the visibility setting. So back on the, trying to let it get back to the home page. But while it's flipping, I'll start and then it'll flip on me. There it goes. So on the upper right-hand side, as I said, is the communication center. What these images you see here, below here, are my friends. You won't have so many at the beginning, but you're going to acquire them. These are my friends from the various communities that I belong to. And this My Friends page is a mini version of what you find under the My button. And I'll go back there and show you that quickly. But if I were to click on Brian's picture here, it allows me, once I have VC, which I'll explain in a second, to instantly create a video call to him, which he can either accept or decline. And I'll get a notice saying he's busy or can't take the call. I can video chat with him if he's online. I can call him if he's online. I can always send him a My Mail, which is our internal mail that notifies him on the outside, or I could check out his profile. Up on the upper right, you'll find, once you load your image, you'll see your image where mine is. Underneath that button, if you click on it, it says what community you're in. If you were in various Redstring communities in the Redstring network, you would be able to see a drop down of Redstring communities. You can sign out here. You can see your own profile here. You won't find your own profile in the directory because of an algorithm that doesn't allow your own profile to be seen there, but you can find it there. So VC, we have instructions up on how to download it. It's there. When you come into the system, you'll see this target will be red and it'll have a downward pointing arrow. If you just follow the instructions and go slowly, it should go okay. It's just downloading an app into your system and integrating it with the system. The one thing I want to explain to you is that if you get a pop-up that asks you for a password, to enter a password, a new password, just click out of that box. You're not joining VC. You don't have to join VC to have this tool. This is your free way to communicate in this community, and it's integrated into the tool. But there is a pop-up that will come up, and you just have to X out of it. And just, if you take your time and follow, you should be okay. We're happy to help you if you have any difficulty with downloading the app and instructing. And again, the I'll show you on the other side, but the indicators that someone's online, as you can see, Brian is green here. He's online. These people are not online. They're red. If they were engaged in a conversation, they would have a turquoise line under them. And as long as they're green or turquoise, you can call them. If someone's in a conversation, you can still call them and they can allow you in. Next to it is your notification center. So this tells you if you have a friend request from someone or an announcement or a my mail, and you just click on it and you see what you have, and you can either accept it into your calendar or not. Oops, I'm gonna get out of that.
Okay.
This browser is DuckDuckGo. It does not collect, DuckDuckGo, as many of you may know, doesn't collect data. There are help buttons. Again, this, and am I at my end of my time? Is that, or do I have a little more time?
No, it's up, Bruce.
Okay, all right. Well, just one last thing, if you'll let me, which is this member directory is very important. So
Okay.
if you go to the member directory, you will see the members of the Wize Move Society. And to friend someone, you just take your cursor, you scroll over it, you click on that person, and it actually, it's not functioning because of we're in a going through this system, but you will see that there'll be a box, an icon with a little plus sign. If you click on that, it will send an invitation to friend someone. So I'm happy to help anyone do this. There's a lot of guidance on this now, but thank you, and sorry if I ran over a little.
No, it's fine. Thank you, Bruce. Thank you very much for that. I think, again, what we said earlier is that it's not about you remembering everything at the moment, but just so that when you get onto, when you have, successfully completed your membership process, and you find yourself on a platform that you won't be surprised and say, okay, what does this look like? I haven't seen it before. But as soon as you have joined as a member, myself, Elsabe, and Ingun, and Bruce, and the team will always be available to be able to share with you and help you and guide you, through the system. So we just wanted to give you a sense of what the Wize Move Society platform on my Redstring will be looking like. We are running quite a bit, behind time. I hope it's not going to negatively impact on our speakers. All the speakers will still have their allotted time, to be able to share their wisdom with us. But just bear with us that we're about now 15 minutes or so just running behind. So hopefully we don't lose everybody at on the hour when the session comes to an end. Anyway, let's move on to the next speaker. So the next speaker is an academic, a researcher, and a facilitator based at the Henley Business School, University of Reading in the United Kingdom. She's the program director for the BA Business and Management, and is also responsible for the personal and professional development of students on the MBA, master's, and undergraduate programs. More importantly, in relation to today, she has worked in research or on research which takes a life course perspective to explore life, work and career transitions, and with a focus on midlife and beyond. Welcome, Dr. Tatiana Rossen, and over to you.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, Tebello. It's a pleasure to be here. Good afternoon, good morning, depending where you are. So today I gave myself the job to talk about play, curiosity, and connection. So I will weave a bit of my story there, but will be as we develop these ideas. It's interesting when you talk about purpose. There's a lot of talk around purpose out there. And it's something that I don't think we need to find because it's necessarily being lost somewhere. But sometimes it gets hidden. All the clutter of life, all things happening around us, all the business. And sometimes we get to a point we don't remember anymore, we don't know anymore, we're not in touch with it anymore. And in a way, it is so important to connect with our purpose. It relates to our identity. It relates to what drives us, what motivates us. And in a way, while in the earlier stages of our life, we tend to do a lot of things for other people. We do our degrees, or we study to please our parents, our grandparents, and so on. We accumulate things because it's the right thing to do. We achieve things because it's the right thing to do. And it gets to a certain point that actually that call to look at our purpose becomes impossible to resist. And it's usually around midlife that we realize we need to go back and reconnect with it and really experience life in its full glory, what it's all about. So, as Tebello said, I am a psychologist, I am an academic, I'm a social and behavioral scientist. And in the past 20 years, I've been researching midlife transitions and the impact on our work, our health, and our well-being. And when I started, it seemed really odd because I was in my early 20s and there I was running retirement groups and reflection groups. And at the time, my intern was a 50-year-old man because he was transitioning career. He was leaving a big corporation. He was studying psychology to become a psychotherapist, and used to confuse people because this was this young girl. Well, I was a girl at the time. I like to think now. And this intern, age 50, and a man. So it caused a lot of confusion. But it goes to show that this idea that we always had, you know, talking now about my friend, that we study, we work, and we retire is no longer valid. Well, what's that all about? This linear progression that somewhat, somehow, we get sold. It's very different to actually what happens to us. Our life trajectories are much more circular than linear. And if any of you here or watching us been a linear path so far, I would say maybe it's time to start adding some curves and roundabouts to where you're going. And to be honest, the roundabouts won't take you back to the same place. Believe me, once you go through the roundabout, you find a different destination, and you find yourself in a completely different scenario, because we're never the same again, regardless of how much you try to keep some consistency. So changing is a great part of that process and is impossible to stop. But one of the things that it tends to inevitably change is where our priorities lie. And I quite like the idea of inside out and outside in. And I always like this idea to play with different parts of life, different stages of life, different missions we have at these different stages. And how when we are developing our first stretch of our career, we do quite a lot of things because people say we're good at. They say, oh, you're good at that, and you go and do a bit more because it's quite nice to be praised. And then you carry on developing, investing on that. And at some point you might realize that it may be, if you're lucky, that's something that you really like to do and you enjoy, and that's true to yourself. Or maybe it's something that you're simply good at, but actually you could do if not doing that anymore. It's not something that resonates with you or that means anything. And at this point, it starts to become really evident that what we do needs to be important from the core, from inside out, from what we have to offer. And that inside out thing, which can be whatever, an interesting, a passion, a talent, it's something that usually we overlook. Not only we overlook, we don't value because it's easy for us and we like it. So how can this be something I can make into a business? How is this something other people want? But this tends to be stable in us. And if we haven't connected with this thing, this special thing we have that we should channel in our work, it's very important to start thinking about finding it. It will manifest itself differently throughout life, but it will be something that would always have been there throughout.
Yeah.
And in a way, we can't get to find this inside out thing without living a bit. I always say in my talks, I say to my undergraduate students, look, you guys, don't be in a hurry to have the final decision about your careers, right? Because you need to live a bit and you need to experiment things to know if you like it or not. And in a way, that's part of the adult development. We need to grow up. We need to learn to be adults. We need to learn to become a socialized mind, that we live with the society and we comply and we, go in agreement with the expectations. And then once we are comfortable, once we feel confident and strong, then we can go about to develop what we really are. And that, again, can only happen with time. So the researchers call that the self-authoring mind. It's the mind that we start designing our own destiny because we know enough about what's out there. We know enough about what we are all about, and then we can start channel it to change our life, our existence, our perspectives around the world. And once we start that, it's inevitable that we start shaping that world as well. Not only we shape our lives, but we shape what's happening around us. And it's a normal process of being an adult. At early stages of psychology, you used to think that only children develop. Once the adolescent become an adult, that is finished. And actually, neuroscience and all branches of psychology and science comes to show that that process of development don't stop. And it's not about decline and decay. Actually, there's a lot of growth and expansion that happens in this process. And that is not publicized enough, but the learning never stops. In fact, we go through life through a process of learning, mastering, and moving on. It is said that every 5 to 7 years, and I'm sure there's variation, it's very individual, we would go through a learning cycle. So maybe that learning cycle is connected to our purpose and to that special talent we have. Maybe it's part of that search. But inevitably, we're going through the process of we identify something, we explore, we resource ourselves, we learn. We get into that comfortable place of mastering something when we know what we're doing and it's nice and it's comfortable. And then maybe even passing on to others, training someone else to be good at it as well. And it gets to a point that we just feel the need to move on. We feel the need to go and find something else and re-engage with this process. And that's being alive. That's what it's all about, is to get into this process of stopping and starting, growing and moving on. And it gets even more fun when we add purpose to it, when that process of learning actually is connected to something bigger that we are after in our lives. So when we add that to the mix, that learning becomes really much more interesting. But I just touched on the word fun, and fun is a big part of that. But what's interesting is when we get to that purpose, it is fun, it is challenging, it's puzzling, rewarding, but it's actually life. And to get to that purpose, I would say again, the very past would say, let's go into an introspection, let's stop, think, reflect, go over our values. But that's no longer the case. That's just the way to go about it. I think introspection is still very important. It still helps. But it's through play, curiosity, and action that we really connect with that purpose. And why do I say that? Why play? Well, play opens our cognition. When we're playing, it's like a child. When we're playing, we are free. We are able to be creative, to engage with ideas without the concern of having to achieve something or prove something to anyone. When we play without an objective, it feels like we can surprise ourselves. It's getting the Lego bricks and suddenly you build yourself a castle, but you didn't notice because it was fun and was nice and it felt good. You are not forced to come up with the castle. It emerged through play. So play allows us to find things we never thought because we are relaxed and we are able to see. And very connected with that is curiosity. Curiosity is a big buzzword in personal development. Everyone talks about being curious. But curiosity as play helps you to explore ideas that you wouldn't otherwise, that your adult self, socialite self would say, no, that's just completely bonkers idea. Now, when you're curious, say, okay, yes, I can go there. I can open that door. I can actually explore. I can engage in generative thinking, that I can come up with something new. And curiosity is the fuel to get to something different, something that you haven't expected again. So the third thing in the title of my talk was connection. So why connection? Where connection comes into the equation? And I think that's pretty much why we're here today. It's all about the connection. And it's not because there's power in numbers. Of course, there are power in numbers. The more of us that talks about this stage of life and all the amazing things that can be achieved, the better it is. We open the minds of other people, but it's not exactly about that. That connection goes to help. We are social animals, and we can even be the most independent thinkers, but we're still social animals. We need the human connection. Actually, I would say we need more than ever before. We come in this post super consumerist existence to getting to something that's a bit more collectively focused and connected. And this human connection only happens through our relationships and through conversations. And it's a great way to actually consolidate, being the playground, the village square of that play, curiosity, and exploration. So through the relational aspects, through meeting people, we can actually be much more daring in our curiosity, much more daring in our play, because we have other people's lenses we can borrow to see things that we can't see from the perspective we are. And we actually are supported as well. Is what Paul was saying, is having someone to say, don't go there, go here. or let me try and help you with something. So connections is at the heart of really good play and exploration. And good play and exploration is really at the heart of good ideas. So connection is a safe space that supports all this process of redirection. So connecting with others, it is pretty much connecting with ourselves. The two things go hand in hand. And as a global citizen, which I like to say, as Ingun said, I'm Brazilian, Swiss, in England, after living in the Middle East, and you name it. I belong to many places. I belong to many communities that really help me to see my purpose. And I belong to online communities too. I belong to this community, and I'm not over 50, but I do belong because I care. So I'll invite you all to belong, to connect, and to play with us. Thank you.
Wow, great, great presentation, Dr. Tatiana. I love the fact that you're reminding us to stay curious and to play. As some of you here know, I'm quite a keen golfer. And when I play golf, especially on like Tuesdays and Wednesdays, there are these 84-year-old ladies that beat me every single week, right? And I always say to myself, I want to one day be 85 and be beating the young ones in the game. And you can see the love they have, the passion that it brings, the life that it brings into them, the fact that they're able to walk the 18 holes, still be able to hit the ball better and score better than I do, or the young ones do. So thank you so much for reminding us of, the fact of being able to play, of continuing to be curious, of putting into action, our passions, and also being able to stay connected. When in Female Wave of Change, we once had a session about talking about surviving through the times of COVID. And one of the speakers, Dr. Babu, said, she doesn't like this phrase of social distancing. She would rather call it physical distancing, because human beings are social beings, and whether we connect socially, physically, or online, or however, what we need to always remember is that we're social beings. So thank you so much for your wisdom, and we look forward. By the way, Dr. Tatiana will be working quite closely with us in the Wize Move Society. She will be, running some of the training and leading some of the conversations as the society grows and the movement, gets even bigger. So we look forward to, hearing more from you and, improving and increasing on our curiosity and continuing, to play out there. Thank you so much. And with that concept of playing, it now brings us on to the next session. I know we should have been doing this about 27 minutes ago, but now it is the time to be doing this as we're going through a session where we'll be dealing with mind through body. And this session is going to be led by Dr. Manisha Khare. Dr. Manisha is based in India, and she is a medical doctor, a homeopathic consultant, a nutritional advisor, and a medical yoga therapist. So if you've been sitting and your back is starting to feel sore, the knees are feeling a little bit like, okay, I need to move a bit, now is the time for us to be able to do that with Dr. Manisha Khare. Dr. Manisha, over to you.
Yes, thank you so much. And first of all, my gratitude to Geeta Kapoor from India and to Wize Move Society for giving me this opportunity to have this presentation with you. So can I get the presentation right? Share screen?
Yes, I think if you just click on the share screen, you'll be able to share your screen. Great, we can see something coming up.
Yeah. So friends, today by this topic, mind through body. It is just a quick session where you can work through your body on your mind And why this path? Because it's very easy to work on body than onto mind, you know, because we have a better control on our body. And believe me that this 10-minute session will help you. It is very simple but very effective to bring your mind on track where you feel it is not going in the direction where you want it to go. Maybe whatever is the reason, but these simple techniques will help you to bring it back on track. And friends, while moving ahead, just for a moment, just pause yourself and observe what is your body posture right now. In whatever posture you are sitting, don't correct it now. Just observe it now. Like, what is your body posture? What is the alignment of different parts of your body with each other? And why it is so important? Because unknowingly throughout the day, while working or even while resting, we carry the wrong posture unknowingly, and eventually it becomes a habit. And this wrong posture then is the cause for many degenerative diseases, especially related to the spine. And I will just rush through the next slides, but see where you can relate with any of these postures. So this is standing with the head tucked out forward, or even while sitting. This is how different people stand. This is wrong, this is right. Then these are the different sitting postures with the slouch, with the increased curvature, turning in wrong way. You feel you are relaxing, but it's not relaxing for your back. You are lying down, but you are stressing your neck. You are driving, but so anxious that you can't sit relaxed. And what does it cause? This causes the compressive load on your cervical spine. And because of this constant compression over a longer period of time, there is a faster degeneration. Also, any stress, first your neck catches that stress. If you are feeling cold, your neck muscles get cramped, your shoulders are shrugged when you are tense, and all the time your poor neck is taking the toll of your stress. So friends, if we understand and learn to relax these neck muscles, then eventually through this relaxation, we will relax our mind too, right? So just quick awareness of this. And believe me, before we move further, don't blame your age for this degeneration, because the legends before us like Paul and Ron, they have proved that age is just the number. So this is the normal posture where see your head is tucked out, causing the faster degeneration. So align it properly in line with your shoulders, so that there is a proper head resting on your neck, and there is a proper alignment of the neck. See, this is the awareness how to stand right, how to sit right, how to lie down right, how to rest right, how to drive right, right? Okay. So now we will do some quick yoga postures which will help you for your cervical spine. So these are very simple postures you can do with me. Just quick things, very effective and easy to do. Okay. So just quickly, whatever, if you are sitting, be comfortable in sitting. I'm just standing so that you will be able to see me better. So just spread your hands sideways. Okay. Palms facing the ceiling. Your thumb side of your hand turns towards the ground. Bring your hands little bit behind from the shoulders. Okay. Yes. I will just give 6 counts. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and down. I will just stop sharing. Okay. Okay, friends. And now the next pose. Bring your hands in front, above your head, straight above your head, elbows straight, but bring your shoulders down. Hands little bit behind your ears. I will give you count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Don't bring it down, just fold it down on your shoulders. Just fold it down. Hold it on your shoulder blades. Elbows straight up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Slowly open your hands and bring them down. Wonderful. Are you feeling charging up in your hands, right? And little relax in your neck. Now the third thing is just interlock your fingers behind. Elbows straight.
And Manisha, could you stop share completely? Then people will see you better.
Yeah, I was trying, but I could not.
Yeah,
Now
it's
is
all
it?
right now. Now it's perfect now. Thank you.
Perfect, yeah. Yes, okay. So now you interlock the fingers behind, okay? Elbows straight. Pull your shoulders little bit down. Now see how nicely your chest is open in front. Shoulders are rolled behind. And it gives nice stretch to your neck muscles, right? Just 5 more counts. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Slowly relax. Okay. Next posture, hands in front. Take it from sideways in W pose. Okay, so make W of your hand. Draw your elbows little down. Hands in line with your body. Observe your tummy. Belly button little bit towards your backbone. Keep the core firm. Optimize the curvature of your lower back. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Slowly hands down. Easy to do? Yes? Okay? Okay. Now, please take your seat. Due to lack of time, we are just taking the sequence ahead. So now, what did we do? With the help of some stretching over neck muscles, we relaxed our neck muscles. And if you will just take a moment, close your eyes and observe the feeling within, you will find the complete relaxation in this area. And this relaxation reflects on your mind and relaxes it further. So now we are going to work on our mind through our breath. Okay, so just sit still. Your hands on your thighs. Sit straight. Shoulders drawn behind and down. Head straight. Lower jaw relax. Face relax. Relax your body. Eyeballs turn down and slowly close your eyes. Just be in yourself. With each breath, relax your body. Relax your legs. Relax your torso. Relax your hands. Relax your neck. Throat is loose. All face muscles are relaxed. Lower jaw loose. Teeth barely touching each other. Tongue resting in your lower jaw. Relax. Quieten your mind. Focus on your breath. Just simply observe your breath. Just be with your breath. Feel your breath. Now with this, we will just take 3 deep breaths with complete inhalation and slow exhalation. Slow, soft, complete inhalation. Slow, soft, controlled exhalation. 2 more breaths. Pace you decide, depth you decide, but be relaxed. Relax your body, quieten your mind, and focus on your breath. Keep your eyes closed. Now just follow my instructions. Put both your index fingers in your ears and close your ears. Elbows in line with your shoulders. Okay. Now, just before you stop hearing me, what we are going to do, take a deep inhalation and while exhaling, produce humming sound and experience the vibrations in your oral cavity, in your nasal cavity, in your sinus cavities. Okay, 3 breaths, we call it Brahmari. Inhale deeply and while exhaling, after 3 breaths, without opening the eyes, bring your hands back on your thighs. Normal breathing. Experience these vibrations still within you. Now we will end this session by chanting Omkar 3 times. Omkar is made up of 3 letters, A, U, and M. So while chanting, we will chant all 3 letters equally. I will just show you one and then you start doing with me. Start yourself. Inhale deeply and while exhaling, produce Omkar. Last one. Just be in that pose for some time. Observe your breath, how slow it has become. Observe the vibrations within. Just be one with yourself. Now slowly fold your hands in Namaskar Mudra in front of your chest. Rub your hands. Put your palms on your face. Experience the warmth of your palms. Rub them on the face. Slowly bring them down. Thank you. Thank you. And over to you, Tebello.
Namaste, Dr. Manisha.
Namaste.
Namaste.
So as we were breathing, I started coughing. And then I remembered that the cough is telling me that I'm not relaxed. So I need to go and do that breathing exercise again and get into it. Thank you so much, Dr. Manisha.
Thank
and
you.
I hope everybody is feeling all rejuvenated. If your day is starting, that, you know, it's going to be a different day. If your day is coming to an end, you're going to go into the evening in a relaxed, manner. Thank you so much for that time. And it's amazing that just in 10 minutes, we're able to bring ourselves back to ourselves and we're able to be with ourselves. Thank you so much. It now gives me great, great pleasure. And what I love about it is that we did yoga from India. We were directed by somebody who's in India, taking us through yoga. That's just so awesome. We're now it now gives me great pleasure to introduce one of the mothers of our nation here in South Africa. She's an author. She's a director, she's a world traveler, and more importantly, she's an award-winning storyteller. Dr. Gcina Mhlophe, welcome, Mama, and over to you.
Sanbonani, sanbonani, sanbonani. Namaste. It is good to be with you and Wize Move. Thank you so much for inviting me. I decided to sit on this side because I was ready to take instructions. And there's a big, big ocean behind me. That Indian Ocean is greeting everybody. But I'm going to go back to my place now and sit down and be able to talk to you. My name is Gcina Mhlophe, and I'm the director of an organization called Gcina Masiko Arts and Heritage Trust. I'm based here in Durban. And the most exciting thing about meeting the team, the exciting women who are part of Wize Move, I met them at a Female Wave. I think it was 2-3 years ago. And I had no idea what the wave was going to be like. Was I going to dive into the wave? Was I going to be swallowed by the wave? What was going to happen? But I was so happy to be amongst those women. I'll share a little bit about my journey. I have had many extremes in my life, and coming from a very, very loving early childhood, I always talk about me being a garden. I was watered with a lot of love. I think the Almighty knew that I was going to meet many problems in life, so I needed to be fortified with love and a lot of stories. So once I was fortified with love and lots of stories, and walking into that classroom for the first time and feeling like, yes, speak to me, teach me how to read, teach me how to write, I'm ready. So it was a wonderful way of starting formal education. But many things were going to happen in my life. I was going to move to different parts of the country and then of the world. But the grandmother who told me stories, the one who taught my imagination to fly, one day when I said to her, we have traveled to so many places, she said to me, think about our little town, which is Hammersdale. And she talked to me about eThekwini, Durban, our city. She said to me, our province, KwaZulu-Natal. And then she talked about South Africa. I hadn't seen the whole of South Africa at the time, but we had traveled to small towns all over the place. I thought I was such a globetrotter. Man, we had done 2 hours in that direction, another hour in that direction. I thought we'd seen places. And then my grandmother told me that the continent of Africa is Zwekazile Africa. She called it, I didn't know what a Zwekazile was, but she meant the continent. She said, even the continent of Africa is a small place in a bigger world out there. I thought, well, my grandmother's wise. My grandmother knows things. I should believe her. And she says there's a bigger world out there. She was probably telling the truth. I had no idea that it was a prophecy that the youngest daughter of Baba Mhlophe was going to globetrot, was going to see the world. When people ask me where you have been, where I have been, I always think, let's start with the countries I've never been to. And then we'll do the other. The past 35 years, I have traveled, I've seen the world. I've worked with the most amazing, amazing people in different parts of the world. And the joy of it has meant that I'm always curious, I'm always learning. It has meant that also I arrived in all of these places without wanting to imitate anybody else, wanting to be me, just good old me. It has been okay to be me. When I arrived in Japan for the first time, I was just nervous about one thing. I thought, how am I going to tell everybody apart? In South Africa, many white people say black people look alike. I don't know. Maybe we look alike. And with white people, we think, oh, they've got yellow hair, and the other one's got brown hair, and the other one's got orange hair. And then we try and then differentiate. And some of them apparently have got different eye color as well. But when I arrived in Japan, I was so terrified because I didn't want to be embarrassing, to be rude to my students, because I was a visiting lecturer at the Kyoto Saika University. But soon enough, I realized nobody is the same. Everybody's different. They might all be relatively on the short side and have black hair and maybe smaller eyes. And I look like my father. So hello, check out how small my eyes are. And so everywhere I went, I brought the brand that is the stories of my people, the poetry, the music of my people. I always say I come from the house of song and prayer. When we are together in my family, until we start singing, you know for a fact we are not together. So that singing has been the glue that keeps us together as a family. It doesn't matter what type of voice you have. And even when I went over towards a cliff, I think, of wondering if my voice was good enough at high school, my reverend at the school, I went to a Methodist church, high school, boarding school. I went to the minister and I asked him, doesn't God answer everybody else's prayers? And why doesn't God answer my prayer? And the minister wanted to know what was my prayer that needed answering. I said, I need a soprano. I need a nice voice. I want a beautiful voice. My voice is ugly. And the minister laughed and then he said, your voice is not ugly. Your voice is resonant. I had no idea what kind of word is that, resonant. The typical Gcina Mhlophe would have run to the dictionary to check out what is resonant. But I thought the way the minister says it, I can live with that. I can live with it. I just believe him. It's okay. I walked out there taller and feeling good and floating a little bit. I didn't know that my voice was going to share the poetry of my people with a sense of dignity, was going to tell the stories of my people with that resonance and touch so many lives. I didn't know that the plays I was going to write, that the kind of magic from the words of my own people, the ancient wisdoms are going to be carried in this vehicle that is my voice. I didn't know that at the time. I thought God had to sort something out here. There's a problem. My voice is too deep. There's no soprano over here. And nowadays I love my double bass. I'm all right. I'm all right. Bruce, I'm sorry, man. You just made me feel insecure with that voice of yours, but it's okay. You know, I'm very lucky also to have been traveling to so many different parts of the world and meeting people who do different types of work and sharing this and sharing that with me. And I'm always wondering, what can I learn in this country? What can I learn in this country? And when I think one of the big times when I had to decide if I'm a chicken or an eagle was in 1991. 1991, I was the first Black woman resident director. You know how the newspapers love that. It was in all the newspapers and the magazines and then the radio stations and whatever. Yes, Gcina Mhlophe, the first Black woman resident director in the market. So publicity until you had no idea where to hide. And then 1.5 years later, I did something apparently that annoyed certain people, and also the political party that was very, very important in our years of struggle. I come from the years of struggle. I was a freedom fighter as well. They decided that I had done something wrong. I had spoken at a place where I shouldn't have spoken, and I embarrassed my country and my what. And the long and short of it is that I was fired. And I've got a lot of people, a lot of friends in the media. And my friends wanted the story, chop, let's get this thing, let's scandal, there's a scandal, there's a what. I said, no, I'm not gonna fight in the press. I was in my apartment, I was seething, I was so angry. I didn't know what to do, but I'm not going to the press, out of the question. And then comes a phone call saying, are you ready to come and work with us to run some workshops for us, Werkstatt 3 in Hamburg? I told them, how fast can you buy the aeroplane ticket? I'm ready, even tomorrow. By Friday, I was in an aeroplane going to the Netherlands, to Germany, to Hamburg. And I worked like nobody's business. I saved every cent. I was looking at another place now. And from that day, I knew that there was a new beginning. Anger out of my life. Confusion, scandal. How do you spell scandal? I'm on my way. And I got into what was the next chapter of my life. I left the theater world, the full-time theater, into full-time storytelling. And I felt a calling. If you know traditional healers in our part of the world, you don't just suddenly wake up, you think you're going to be a traditional healer. You get called by the ancestors. The next thing you knew, my storytelling became a calling. And I grabbed it with both hands. And I've never been happier. I've never been happier. I used to say to my director, my mentor, Barney Simon, I used to say to him, even though I was doing so well, I'm collecting awards left and right, I'm being recognized in New York, I'm recognized in the UK and all over the place, Edinburgh Festival, here I am, and all of those things. I used to say to him, I'm flying with crooked wings. And he said, no, but the audience loves you. So yeah, the audience loves me, but I'm still flying with crooked wings. I'm so grateful he didn't press me to explain exactly what I meant, but I knew something was just not right. I wasn't fully belonging in the place where I was. And as soon as I got into full-time storytelling, I straightened up and I began to fly right. I knew that this is where I belong. This is what I'm gonna do for the rest of my life. So I have told stories in the most unlikely places. I've worked with philharmonic orchestras. I've worked with the tiniest people in small villages in different countries. I have worked in kindergarten. I've worked in high school. I've worked with universities. Storytelling is like water. It changes shape and form all the time. Storytelling, you can drink it, you can bathe in it, you can see yourself in it, you can inhale the vapor, you can be healed by swimming in it, you can dive into, there is so much, it can cleanse you, but it can drown you too. So there's so much to this thing called water. But also, storytelling is fire. It is the kind of fire that can inspire so many people. And when I am asked why I tell stories, I repeat the same answer again and again. I tell stories in order to wake up stories in other people. Because every living being has got a story to tell. That's a fact. That's why I tell stories, in order to wake up stories in other people. If I can wake up stories in each person who hears me tell a story, mission accomplished. That's so important. But I like to tell the stories of long ago. I like to tell stories of my true life experiences. I like to tell stories of my people's history. Our histories are so rich. There is so much to say about where we come from, because the place where you come from matters. Some people think that they come from a small place, and then I don't need to mention my hometown, and then you are nervous about even your surname because it doesn't sound right. I love my name. I love my family name. When we were young, our parents repeated again and again and again, please don't bring disrespect or disrepute to your family name. Don't disgrace your family name, because it is who you are. It's what you are carrying. If I arrived in Jaipur at that literature festival and I did disgusting things, people in Jaipur would say, there was a woman here from South Africa, from a place called Hammersdale, and she's Mhlophe. And now all the people who are called Mhlophe are disgraced because of me. And I went to a place called Greenland. Now that's cold. That's not Zulu-friendly weather. But luckily I'm still alive. I came back. And the different places I have traveled, I hear there's somebody here from Boston. I worked with Brandeis University. I didn't know I was going to get a second trip, another opportunity to go back to Boston, because when I went back to Boston, I went to be a writer in residence at the Isabella Stewart Gardner Museum. I had never heard of Isabella Stewart Gardner before until this letter of invitation arrived. I thought, who was Isabella? I don't know. And I arrived at this place, wow. I remember the Reverend Mutlalepule Chabaku at another empowerment conference many years before saying, you are at the right place, at the right time, for the right purpose. Let that purpose reveal itself to you. When I arrived at the Gardner Museum as artist in residence, I was at the right place at the right time for the right purpose. Sit down and operation shut up. Focus on your writing. Be still. No flying anywhere, no worrying about your watch or what your diary says. Just be still. The gift of time, the gift of silence. I can never thank them enough. I've been to a few artist residencies, and I am so grateful for those opportunities, because here in South Africa, I have to try and make time for my writing. I have to make time for running the organization Gcina Mhlophe Arts and Heritage Trust, where we promote literacy, where we promote the preservation of our heritage and ancient stories, where we run the Nozincwadi literacy campaign. We've just celebrated the 20 years of Nozincwadi. And Nozincwadi was my great-grandmother. And I love the fact that we can honor somebody in my own biological family in this manner. And I love to read. And it looks like there's something about a legacy that can be preserved. I feel like I'm carrying the legacy of this woman that I never met. She used to collect books and whatever had writing on it, put them in a suitcase, and she died without ever learning to read and write. But me, I'm propelling. Every school I've ever visited since we started Nozincwadi in 2001, we have donated boxes and boxes full of books, and we have started libraries that are called Nozincwadi libraries. We renovate an empty room, we wash the walls, we paint, we put shelves, we put tiles on the floor or a carpet, and eventually all the books that we bought or books that have been donated, we put them in the shelves. When we are done, above the door, it's written Nozincwadi Library. How wonderful is that? She's operating from beyond the grave through me. And I love having to do that type of work. Now, when I turned 60 years old, there was a big birthday party and a beautiful school, the School of the Deaf here in Durban, Vulindlebe. They baked my beautiful cake. And then they asked me to give a talk. And I stood up and I gave a talk on my birthday. My friends sang and people danced. We had awesome wheelchair dancers. And then eventually I thought, you know what? I'm making a declaration. Since I'm 60 years old, I'm giving myself the democratic right to say the 24th of October, the day on which I was born, shall henceforth be known as the National Storytelling Day. And applause and applause and applause. And people in government were very worried. Ooh, they didn't know what to do with this mad 60-year-old woman. So the following year, we had a big celebration on the 24th of October at 11 o'clock sharp. And people in different parts of the country, they were doing the same thing at 11 o'clock. And the following year, we did the same thing, even under COVID. Last year, we had the 24th of October, 11 o'clock sharp. We told stories. And I even adopted a storytelling tree. How nice it is to be grown up again. How much do you like to be in your 60s? You just adopt a tree and name it a storytelling tree. Now here in Durban, not far from where I live in a peninsula, a place called Brighton Beach, and a little bit south of Durban. We have adopted a tree in the park. It's a wild fig tree. It's massive. And we tell stories there once a month. People of all ages come. Many people we invite, they say, I'm going to bring my mother. I'm going to bring my father. I bring my grandfather. I bring my great-grandma. They bring old people. Wow. They bring the very young. We see 2-year-olds coming there and listening to stories. I see people in their early 90s coming and listening to stories. Who's this woman? Well, what is she up to? And they are reminded of stories. And people phone me late at night. Since we've been under the tree, my grandfather won't stop talking. Well, thank you, and maybe not so we are not so pleased after all. But what I'm saying is that the work that I do always makes me reimagine my own story. I want to always reimagine my story. I never stop learning. In my language, we say, umuntu ufunda aze afe. A person learns until the day she dies. And so for me, if I ever stop learning, I wouldn't want to live anymore. I would say, stop the train. I'm getting off. So being invited to this amazing, amazing Wize Move Society, I'm so lucky. It's a wise move indeed to be amongst you. I'm grateful. And when I'm asked, how come you're so happy? What's all this energy about and what? I tell people, listen, let me let you in on a secret. I live for the vitamin D. And they say, what? You can get it from this chemist. Which chemist? said, no, man, vitamin D is called vitamin gratitude. I'm grateful for life. I'm grateful for so many blessings. I live on vitamin G, ladies and gentlemen, and I hope you too can live on vitamin G, vitamin gratitude, and grab whatever opportunities and go to the next level and the next level, and you'll never stop reimagining your own story. Thank you. Ngiyabonga.
Oh, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you so much for vitamin gratitude. Now we know we have a new vitamin, and we look forward to spreading it, on our platform of Wize Move Society. Mamgcina, thank you so much. It's always a pleasure sitting and listening to your story. I look forward to coming one day to sit under the tree.
Yes.
And being able to listen and also contribute, where possible to those stories. So thank you very much. And hope you enjoy the sounds and the smells and the senses of the sea in terms of where you are living right now. Thank you so much.
Siyabonga. Thank you so much. It's a privilege to be amongst you.
Wonderful. Thank you, everybody. Right, we are now, as I always say, we've been running, through a marathon. Somebody said to me one time, we've been doing a relay. So now we're getting to the last part of the relay. Now, at this point, it gives me great pleasure I'm going to wear a different hat. So myself and my colleague Elsabe are just going to go through the navigation part for the second time, so that when you say, okay, I'm ready to join, where do I go, what do I do, you know what to do. So Elsabe, are you ready? Can we start with you? And then I will share my screen as I take them to the second part. Thank you.
Hi, everyone. Gosh. For anybody to follow up after that energetic, vivacious tornado that just went through here is a bit of a tough act to follow. But anyway, so before I start getting into my very short presentation, I'll give you an even shorter version of who I am and where I'm from and what I do. My name is obviously, as you all know, Elsabe Trollip. We've had enough of me in the group today. I am from Cape Town, the beautiful city of Cape Town, and it is the most beautiful place in South Africa. And yes, we are our own country in Cape Town. Ask the rest of South Africa. So if you haven't been, you must come and visit. But anyway, for the last nearly 3 years, I've been a virtual assistant. I was in retail for over 30 plus years in a management role, and I absolutely loved it. My favorite part of my job was the connections I made with my customers on a daily basis and with the people that I worked with. And when I decided it was time to go and start my own thing, I started a virtual assistant business. And to be honest, in the beginning, I just thought it's a nice work from home job. But Paul said something earlier on that absolutely resonated with me. What I'm doing now, I love so much that nothing that I've done before comes close to this. Meeting all these people and working with phenomenal people like Ingun and Tebello and all of you is just amazing. I have got so much passion and so much love for people, and just to share it and be part of all this is just the most amazing thing for me. Anyway, I talked longer than what I wanted to. So I'm going to get into my presentation for you now. So I know you're all going to want to join if you have not joined yet. So I'm going to take you through the steps quickly. I'm responsible for showing you the whole onboarding process. So when you join, it should run smoothly, and I'm responsible for that. So I'm going to quickly take you through that. So I'm going to start sharing my screen. Can you see my screen? Yes. Can you see my screen? Thank you. Okay, so when you're ready to start joining, let me get rid of Zoom quickly. Sorry, there you go. When you're ready to start joining the community, you know Wize Move Society is part of the Move into the Future program. So you will come to the Move into the Future website, and please, it's into with a 2, not a 2 with a T-O. So you will come here and you will land on the home page. And if you just go past the banner, you will find the section where you can join. if after the session you want some more information, you are more than welcome to click on the I want more information, and you can read a lot more about the Wize Move Society. If you want to join and become a member, this is the button that you will click on. And I'm going to quickly show you something. So I'm going to go in there, but I'm not going to put my credit card details in there for you to see. No. Okay. So this is where you will come and join the community. You will put your name, your email, your card details, and it says your credit or debit card. But if for some reason you want to pay via some other way, or you are having a problem putting your card details in here and it doesn't want to accept, please send us an email and we will help you to get your payment through some other way. Okay, and then you will click on the terms and conditions after you've read it, and then you will join the community. If you want to contact us, you can just go to the contact page here and you will find all our contact details here. So now you've joined the community, you've paid your money, you will get the very first thing that you will get from us is an email to say hello, because we are welcoming you now, to say that you have now registered. We've received your registration. Thank you very much. And if you have any questions, you can email us on that email address. Once you've got that, within 24 hours, because we have to keep time zones in consideration, yeah, you will get, not that. Oh, I went to the wrong place. So sorry. Let me go back. There you go. See, that's when you do stuff. We will send you an email with a nice, cool looking guy. That's that. And this will now to welcome you to the community. In here, we will give you a little bit more information in case you forgot, which you shouldn't have, about the Wize Move Society. And then we will tell you what you must do to go and join that lovely platform that Bruce has been showing you earlier on. This is the steps that you will follow to actually go and create your account on the Wize Move Society community platform. Goodness gracious me, it's been a long day. So that will be the second email that you get from us. So you will click on this button here to join, and I'm going to do that quickly. It will take you to this page. Now, very important, forget the login button, or if you see a red join button on the top, just ignore all those things. At the bottom here, you'll see enter your email address. You might have to scroll down. It depends on your computer. Then you will put in your email address here, and then it will take you through the creation process. Once you have done that, or basically by the time you have done that, you would have also received a third email from us, which is your welcome email, to give you a little bit of guidance on what you can expect on the platform and how to navigate your way around the platform. There's a welcome message from Ingun for you that you can listen to and watch. We give you links to the community guidelines so that you can see what is the expectations in the community and how we must conduct ourselves. We would love for you to go and be active in the forum, so you can click here and go there, and you can find all the training material in the community library. Then underneath that, there's a little quick navigation to a video. It's a 5-minute video, and I'm talking even faster than what I'm talking now, because time is money and time is limited, but you can get a quick navigation to it in case you forgot what Bruce and Tebello is saying to you today. And then if you can't remember where to go get all the meeting details, you can just click on each of these. So that's basically your onboarding, and I am going to stop sharing because Tebello is now going to take you further. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Elsabe. I actually feel like there's not much that I'm now able to share because you've kind of, covered everything. So I'm just going to quickly go back to the page. I hope everybody can see this. So once you have created your username and your password, key things that I wanted to just highlight for you is that in the button here, if you click on my calendar, you will see that you can see there, there's my calendar, there's our core team calendar, and there's a Wize Move community calendar. So if you're looking to see what are the activities or when are the meetings taking place, you would be able to find it when you click on my Wize Move community calendar. And if I just quickly move on, you see that as of the 3rd, which is Monday. We've already scheduled, sessions. We'll have a welcome session. We'll have a village square session that will be taking place on the Tuesday. And also on the Friday, we're having a World Cafe, session. If you have missed any of these two and you are able to make it to this one, no worries. These meetings are going to be repeating themselves. We're going to be repeating them, almost every week until we have covered, the bulk of our community. And remember that if you get lost, you just go back to the home button. What I wanted to highlight for you is that, as we indicated earlier, there is this information button that's here. So all the sessions that you have, as you can see there, it will keep changing. And every time that it changes, it's able to give you new information with regards to the sessions, that we're going to be having. So the calendar, under my calendar, is quite, important for you to be able to know where to find the information. If you want to connect with anybody, you're able to go into the member directory and you can type in the name of the person. I think Bruce showed it to us, so I'm just gonna look for Ingun there and search Ingun. I don't invite Ingun because she's there. I'm just going to search for her. And hopefully it's able to show me that Ingun is a member here on the platform and I can be able to connect with her. So it's just to help you that once you're on the platform and there's somebody that you know who is on the platform, you are able to go look for find them and connect with them. If I can just quickly go back to the My Calendar. Now, as a start, what we are also doing is that when it comes to the Wize Move community, as indicated, we have already scheduled, a couple of the meetings. Should you want to schedule a meeting with a particular, group of people or some members that you want to interact with, when we start, please contact myself or Elsabe to be able to help you to schedule that meeting. We will then slowly, grow the platform and provide more rights and roles and responsibilities to various people as the platform grows. But for the next month, when we have started, please, if there's any community event, that you're wanting to create that is going to address all the community members, please ensure that you get in touch with us and we will help you schedule that meeting. All the other stuff here in terms of the community menu, in terms of the gear here in community setting, we will all get used to it as we go through the platform. It took me a week or so. I found the platform, I liked it, I got, used to it. And what I like about it is that all the information that you're looking for with regards to Wize Move Society will all be available here on this platform. So I don't want to go into any more details because our time is really just running out and we're getting close to the end of the session, but we just wanted to show you how practical, the platform is. Now, in terms of our program for today, we are now at a time of going through questions and answers. And I'm not sure, I haven't been able to check the chat box if there were any specific questions that anybody had. I saw wonderful messages of confirmation and excitement about the platform. I haven't seen any specific question that has come through. But we just wanted to give you an opportunity in case you have a question about what has been shared up to this point that will take, maybe where we will take about 5 minutes or so to be able to respond to any of your questions. By the way, as we are right now, that Redstring platform, you are not able to get onto it until you have joined. So you need to go to the website, you need to join, make the payment, and then you will have your own account. Then you are able to get onto the Redstring account and be able to use the platform. So for now, I'm just gonna allow if anybody has a question that they would like for us to address, you can raise your hand or type it in the chat box and we will attend to it. Elsabe, Ingun, are there any questions that you're seeing at the moment? Nothing? So, okay. Ladies, I think there's a hand that's been raised by Patty. Patty, you're welcome to unmute yourself and talk to us.
Hi, I just want to say this is so fabulous, but my thing is I still work full time. So I notice some of the meetings are going to be during my working hours. Are you going to record them so I can catch up afterwards and stuff like that? Because I really want to be a part of it, but working hours sometimes gets in the way.
Yes, most definitely they will be recorded, and all the recordings will also be, you'll be able to find them on the platform itself. Definitely we will record. And Patty, if you know, also I think if in future, if we find that certain hours don't work for people, please, you're welcome to recommend times, you know, other times that we can be able to utilize. Obviously, the time that we looked at was to take into account the time zone of the US, time zone of, you know, Australia and Africa and Europe, but there may be another. Oh, am I off video? Okay, thanks, Renee. Sorry. Yes, so I was just saying that you're welcome to suggest another time and we can be able to see how we work out a time so that, you know, at least we have maybe 3 or 4 time zones that will be accommodated by that time. Thank you. Great. I'm not seeing any other hand up. Yes, Ingun.
Well, the thing is, and I don't know if you're going to share that also with the 3 extra months, or shall I do that?
Please do that, please.
Well, you know, well, first of all, it has been an amazing afternoon. So thank you all for being here and all these amazing presentations and stories. And I must say, during the session, I received these beautiful flowers here that were presented, and my husband came here just now with the champagne. I wish I could share it with all of you because it's really fantastic. So we are going to drink it on your health. What we did, because this is of course a platform that will be growing and growing once that we're on it, and have more trainings and more workshops, and it will grow, and especially in the first 3 months, because now it's a start, but in the next 3 months it will grow, and there will also be some glitches we'll have to take out of it. So what we will do is normally the membership is for 1 year. For those who enter in the next couple of weeks, in the next, 4 weeks, let's say, these people get a 1 year and 3 months membership. So you get an extra 3 months just, you know, to grow this with us, to be there with us, and, you know, to experiment and you know, forgive us with the glitches, and but there will be so much happening in that time. So an extra 3 months for all of you who share. And I already noticed in the chat that the first registrants are already here. So that is fantastic to see that happening. So we really hope to welcome many of you. Share it with your friends, because we really believe that this was something missing right now in the world, in the way that we're going to build it. So share it, and I hope to see most of you on the platform, and let's show the world that we're not on our way out, but that we're part of the future.
Wonderful. Thank you for that, Ingun. So as our next step is that we will have the welcome session on Monday. For those of you that are able to join us, it is 3 p.m. CET. You're welcome to come through and join us. As I said, if you're not able to come to join this week, we will be having another welcome session, you know, the following week. So right now, barring anything, Elsabe, anything that I might have left behind? Ingun, anything else? Bruce, anything I forgot to say? Right. Okay, without taking too much of your time, I really want to say thank you very much for joining us during this launch. Thank you to all our wonderful speakers and all the motivation that you were able to provide, for us. And also more importantly, for reminding all of us that, we still have something to do. We still have something to add. It doesn't matter what age we are at, because the only time we're not going to be able to do anything or contribute anything in this world is the day when we have taken our last breath. That is the only time we don't have an opportunity to do anything. So thank you for reminding us that, through play, through curiosity, through looking for new opportunities and creating other communities, through telling stories, through exercising, through breathing. I mean, that exercise that we did with Dr. Manisha, my shoulders felt like, oh my God, I need to do this more regularly. But through all of those activities, and more importantly, through remembering that as human beings, we are social beings. And by having communities such as these to be able to connect with each other, that we're still able to share our passion and be able to achieve our purpose in this life. So I want to thank you very much for taking your time to be with us and for listening to me, during this time. I think I'm going to become the global MC of Female Wave of Change and Wize Move Society. I don't know, we'll see how that will go, but thank you so much. Thank you. So thank you very much for all of you that listened to us on Facebook Live. I was not able to see you, but thank you so much for joining us. Go out, let's all go out there and share the word about the Wize Move Society and continue to be able to share our words of wisdom with those that are loved and those that are with us. Thank you, everybody. May you have a wonderful day, afternoon, and evening wherever you are in the world. Namaste.
Thank you all for being here.
Great. Thank you, ladies.
Siyabonga, Ralebucha. Thank you. Shukran. Merci. Danke schön.
Oh, wow.
All the thank yous. Ralebuch. Darebo.
Thank you, Ma. Thank you very much.